Have you ever wondered how the history of colonialism could have been different if international laws were strictly adhered to? This question invites us to explore some major historical events, starting from the publication of Law of Nations in 1758 to the landmark Mabo case in 1992. Emmerich de Vattel, a Swiss jurist, published his monumental work Law of Nations in 1758. This work set a new precedent in international law, explicitly stating that European nations could not claim lands already inhabited by indigenous peoples unless they obtained legitimate consent and cession. A profound shift in the understanding of sovereignty, this law sought to uphold the rights of indigenous communities and prevent unlawful occupation. Fast forward to 1713, the Treaty of Utrecht further emphasized this principle. This major treaty restricted colonial powers from acquiring inhabited territories except through negotiated purchases with indigenous sovereign hosts. Instead of the might is right approach that marked much of colonial history, this treaty emphasized negotiation and consent. But how did these principles play out in reality? A look at the landmark Mabo case in Australia provides a fascinating insight. This case, decided in 1992, confirmed that Aboriginal Australians maintained their own intricate legal and political systems. Their sovereignty over the continent predated British claims, challenging the notion of terra nullius, or land belonging to no one, that had been used to justify colonial occupation. The case also highlighted that there were clear protocols for claiming land over inhabited territories. Authorized state representatives were required to perform legitimate possession ceremonies with the consent of indigenous authorities. The simple act of waving a flag, as done by Captain Cook's subordinate, did not meet these standards. To summarize, the principles laid out in Vattel's Law of Nations and the Treaty of Utrecht set a precedent for the rights of indigenous peoples in the face of colonial expansion. These principles were later reaffirmed in the Mabo case, which challenged the notion of terra nullius and highlighted the importance of consent and negotiation in land acquisition. These key events provide a thought-provoking lens through which to view the history of colonialism, challenging us to consider how different our world might look today if these laws were strictly adhered to.